Most food apps start with the recipe. Gravitas Kitchen starts with the food you already have. That sounds like a small difference, but it changes the entire product. A normal recipe app asks, what do you want to cook? A grocery app asks, what do you want to buy? Gravitas Kitchen asks something more useful. What is already in your kitchen? What can you make with it? And what do you need to get the rest of the way there? That is the core idea. Gravitas Kitchen is an AI food agent that helps keep inventory of the food you have, provides recipe discovery, keeps a cookbook, and procures items in your shopping list through delivery and curbside pickup. It is not trying to be a smart fridge. It is not trying to be a nutrition app. It is not trying to be another recipe website with prettier cards. It is trying to solve a very normal, very human problem. You have food. You still do not know what to cook. You buy duplicates. You forget what is in the fridge. You order takeout anyway. Gravitas Kitchen is built around that loop. Inventory becomes memory. Recipes become decisions. The shopping list becomes action. And AI is what makes the whole thing feel less like data entry and more like a useful agent. The kitchen is a memory problem. Most people do not need more recipes. They need context. A recipe for chicken broccoli rice bowls is not useful in isolation. It only becomes useful when you know whether you have chicken, broccoli, rice, soy sauce, garlic, and green onions. A shopping list is not useful in isolation either. It only becomes useful when it knows whether soy sauce is something you buy often, whether you already have it, and whether it should be matched to a specific product at a specific store. That is why Gravitas Kitchen starts with inventory. The inventory does not need to be perfect. It does not need expiration dates, exact quantities, or smart sensors. That kind of precision sounds good in theory, but it can become homework. Instead, Gravitas Kitchen starts with a much lower friction idea. Tell the app what you have. You can type it. You can dictate it. You can say something messy like, bacon, eggs, cheese, bread. That is a perfect use case for AI. A human does not speak in database rows. A human speaks in fragments, pauses, corrections, grocery shorthand, and half-remembered items. The AI's job is to turn that unstructured speech into structured inventory. Not by replacing the product with a brittle parser. Not by writing a bunch of comma-splitting rules and pretending that is intelligence. The AI's job is to understand the messy input and return clean structure. TypeScript code. Chicken thighs, broccoli, rice, Greek yogurt, peanut butter, tortillas, salsa, black beans, soy sauce, green onions. That is the first step. It gives the kitchen memory. Have. Reorder. Need. Once the app has memory, recipes become more useful. In Gravitas Kitchen, ingredients are not just text. They become cards. Each ingredient can be understood as one of 4 states. Have means the item is currently active in your inventory. Product means the app knows a more specific product match, like a certain yogurt, sauce, oat milk, or brand. Reorder means you do not currently have it, but it exists in your history. You bought it before, and it is probably something you may want again. Need means it is missing. This is simple, but it changes how recipes feel. A recipe no longer says, here are 9 ingredients. Good luck. It says, you have 3 of these. You have bought 2 before. You need 4. That makes the recipe actionable. This is where the agent idea starts to become real. The app is not just generating text. It is using memory to interpret the recipe in the context of your kitchen. Recipe ingredient is no longer static. It has a relationship to your inventory, your history, and your shopping behavior. The cookbook is taste memory. The cookbook is the second kind of memory. Inventory remembers what you have. The cookbook remembers what you like. You can save discovered recipes. You can write recipes manually. You can use AI cleanup to turn a messy dictated recipe into something structured. For example, you can type chicken broccoli rice thing. Chicken thighs, broccoli, rice, garlic, soy sauce, maybe green onions. Cook the rice. Cut up the chicken. Cook the chicken in a pan. Add broccoli and garlic. Add soy sauce. Serve over rice. Green onions, if I have them. That is not a polished recipe, but it is exactly how people describe food in real life. AI cleanup turns that into a title, ingredients, optional ingredients, and ordered instructions. The key is that the AI should preserve the user's recipe. It should not invent a different dish. It should not add random ingredients. It should not turn a simple meal into a food blog production. The app uses AI to structure the user's intent, not to replace it. That matters, because over time, the cookbook becomes more than a recipe collection. It becomes a personal map of taste. It knows what you saved, what you cooked, what you can make again, and what ingredients connect to your kitchen memory. The shopping list is not a list. The most important design shift in Gravitas Kitchen might be the shopping list. Original output. In most apps, a shopping list is just text. Milk, eggs, bread, soy sauce. In Gravitas Kitchen, a shopping list item is closer to a tiny search engine. That sounds dramatic, but it is exactly how the grocery workflow works. Take one item. Dole Whip pineapple ice cream in a normal list. That is just a string. In Gravitas Kitchen, that string can query a store's product catalog. It can return candidate matches. It can store those results. It can let the user choose between them. It can remember the selected product. And then it can use the selected UPC to add the actual product to a cart. It has a selected result. It has a provider. It has a store. It has a fulfillment mode. It has a possible UPC. It has a path to action. This is why the shopping list is the decision surface. A shopping list item can search for itself. For Kroger and Ralph's, the flow looks like this. The user chooses a store. The user chooses pickup or delivery. Each shopping list item searches for product matches at that store. The app returns several product candidates. The first result can be suggested automatically, but the user can open the item and choose another match. Then the selected matches can be added to the user's Kroger cart. This turns eggs into an actual store product. Not abstract eggs, not a random recipe ingredient. Actual eggs at the selected store with the product name, size, price, if available, image, and UPC. That is a very different kind of shopping list. Why this matters. Food is one of the most repetitive decision systems in everyday life. Every week, people ask the same questions. What do we have? What should we eat? What do we need? What should we buy? Where should we buy it? Can I get it delivered or pick it up? Most apps only handle one piece of that. A recipe app helps with ideas. A grocery app helps with checkout. In Notes app holds a list. Pantry app tracks inventory. But the user still has to stitch the whole workflow together mentally. Gravitas Kitchen tries to connect those pieces into one loop. S code. Inventory minus recipe ideas minus ingredient cards minus product matching minus grocery cart minus purchased items back to inventory. That loop is why the app matters. Not because it invents food planning from nothing, because it puts the pieces together in a way that reduces friction. The magic is not that AI can produce a recipe. That is now ordinary. The magic is that AI can sit inside a bounded workflow with memory and action. AI powers the messy parts. There are parts of this app that should not be AI. Adding a UPC to a Kroger cart should not be AI. That should be deterministic. Matching an inventory item by UPC should not be AI. That should be deterministic. Duplicating a shopping list item by normalized name should not be AI. But the messy human parts are exactly where AI belongs. Gravitas Kitchen should not be judged as a recipe app. A recipe app starts with content. Gravitas Kitchen starts with context. The recipe is only useful after the app knows whether it fits your kitchen. That is why the ingredient cards matter. That is why inventory matters. That is why the shopping list matters. That is why product matching matters. The app is not trying to answer. It is trying to answer. That is a much more personal question. And it is exactly the kind of question an AI agent should be able to help with. Why this is different from a grocery app. A grocery app is built around a store. Gravitas Kitchen is built around the household. That distinction matters. Kroger knows its products. Ralph's knows its stores. Instacart knows fulfillment. But none of those services start with your kitchen memory. Original output pit. They do not know that you already have rice. They do not know that you bought soy sauce before. They do not know that your cookbook has 3 recipes using tortillas. They do not know that green onions is optional for tonight. They do not know that you are trying not to order takeout. Gravitas Kitchen can sit above those systems. It does not need to replace them. It should not replace them. The grocery provider should still own checkout, payment, substitutions, pickup, and delivery. Gravitas Kitchen owns the decision before the cart. That is the layer that is missing. Morning brief gives it rhythm. The morning food brief gives Gravitas Kitchen a daily rhythm. Instead of waiting for the user to start from zero, the app can say, "Here are 3 meals you can make today." It can prefer cookbook recipes first. It can include cook again options. It can use current inventory. It can use recipe assistant when the cookbook does not have enough good matches. This is where the app starts to feel like an agent instead of a tool. Not because it is autonomous in a dangerous way, because it has a rhythm. It remembers, suggests, and prepares actions for the user to review. That is the right amount of agency for food. The app should not place an order automatically. It should not decide dinner without you. It should give you a head start. The loop after purchase. The loop after purchase. One of the most important features is also one of the simplest. After shopping, the user needs a low-friction way to move purchased items into inventory. If the shopping list helped create the cart, then the shopping list should help update the kitchen memory afterward. That is why a shopping list item can be saved back into inventory. Swipe right. Save to inventory. If the item was matched to a Kroger product, the product details come with it. That closes the loop. The item was needed. It went onto the shopping list. It became a product match. It went into the cart. It was purchased. It returns to inventory. That is the product loop. And once that loop works, the app becomes more useful every time you use it. Small app, complete loop. Gravitas Kitchen is smaller than my other app, Gravitas Crunch. But small does not mean insignificant. In some ways, the smaller scope is its strength. The app has a focused job. Help you decide what to cook and what to buy. That job is easy to understand. It is repeated often. It has a real-world outcome. And it benefits from AI without becoming vague. The first version already has the core pieces: inventory, cookbook, recipe discovery, ingredient cards, shopping list, Kroger and Ralph's, product matching, cart handoff, morning brief, save back to inventory. That is not every grocery feature in the world, but it is a complete loop, and complete loops are where products become habits. I keep coming back to is simple. Your kitchen gets memory. That is what Gravitas Kitchen is really about. It remembers what you have. It remembers what you've bought. It remembers recipes you care about. It remembers what is missing. It remembers product choices at the store. And then it helps turn that memory into action.